I mean, if you look at it from the back, it almost looks like a spaceship, right? Pretty cool. This is a PlayStation 5 development kit. You may have seen leaked photos, articles, and mysterious tweets about it, but probably not one live and in action. That is until now. The elusive PS5 dev kit has been a bit of an enigma, once appearing briefly on eBay for sale and poof, vanishing just as quickly, taken down before anyone could buy it. So much mystery has surrounded this device, but today I'll be shedding light on this rather stunning and quite frankly gargantuan development kit for Sony's latest gaming console, the PS5. Let's take a look. Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Tito and welcome to a very special episode here on Macho Nacho Productions. Now, normally on this channel, I showcase modifications for modern and retro consoles, as well as other interesting retro gaming tech. But I have a very unique opportunity to give you a very first up-close look at a PS5 dev kit. Many of you, I'm sure, have seen leaked images of this online, and there was even one listed on eBay about a year ago that mysteriously disappeared after a few hours of being listed. Now, I won't be able to go over the details of how this ended up on my desk, but I will give you all an up-close guided tour of this beast of a dev kit. So I'm not exactly sure what kind of attention this is going to be getting from Sony, since I'm not exactly supposed to have one of these, but should anything happen, I just started a second channel where I will be posting more videos related to this dev kit, so definitely check that out also. I have it linked in the video description. I'll also be posting high-resolution photos of this dev kit on my website, macho-nacho.com, once I've completed my full disassembly video of the dev kit, which I'm filming and editing right now and will be releasing very soon, so we can see what's inside this beast. Okay, so we got a lot to cover in this video. First, I'm going to start off by showing you around the device, checking out all of its unique and odd features. Then I'm going to power it on. I'm really curious to see what kind of development environment Sony set up for this dev kit. And it's my understanding that this particular kit has never been turned on, so we really have a unique opportunity to experience the software working, as I'm hoping this unit hasn't been blacklisted by Sony. And the last thing I want to see is what's behind this mystery door on the bottom of the console. If you have any guesses, write them in the comments below before the video finishes to see if you guessed right. I have a couple thoughts of my own. My guess would be it's a couple of SSD hard drives, but we'll find out soon enough. Alright, so this particular PS5 dev kit model is the DFI-D1000AA. One thing you'll notice on the front is that there isn't an optical drive, so unfortunately I won't be able to test out any retail PS5 games. However, one of the photos that leaked online does showcase a dev kit model that does have an optical drive, so I'm curious how many different dev kit models Sony released. Anyway, enough of the chit chat, let's go ahead and take a closer look around this device. Checking out the front first, there is a lot to take in. Starting on the left side, we see some PlayStation branding, and right below a series of numbers, 0 through 7. It's hard to know what they're for, but I think we'll have a better indication once we turn the unit on. And below that is the power button, which also appears to be used to put the unit into standby mode. And right next to that is the reset button. Moving over, we see a pair of what I assume to be capacitive touch buttons for both system and network initialization. Moving right along, we get to some much more interesting features. Here we have an array of I/O, a USB-C, and a bunch of Type-A USB ports, all of which are USB 3.0, except for port 2, which appears to be USB 2.0. And right above those buttons appears to be some sort of integrated display with a small analog stick right next to it. Again, once we turn the device on, I'm sure we'll get a better sense of what everything does. Now, right in the middle here is a really interesting sort of V-shaped air inlet. This is where I assume air comes in to pass through the PS5's APU heatsink, as well as the internal power supply to cool everything down. And the last thing of note is that the whole front panel appears to be secured with 8 T9 Torx bits, which adds to the overall industrial look of the dev kit, and I totally dig it. Okay, moving to the right side of the unit, the most notable attribute are these sort of vents which appear to be where all the heat gets exhausted from. Now, what I think is more interesting are these 3 fins that protrude from the side. I'm pretty sure these are used in case developers want to have the console stand vertically to help save desk space, which is actually a pretty thoughtful feature. Moving around to the back of the unit, the first thing that struck me was how much like some sort of sci-fi spaceship this thing looks like. I mean, the rear vents look like rocket boosters. It's really just a very unique design choice. I'm not sure who thought up this design at Sony, but I think it's really cool that they went through the trouble of making this thing look really out there instead of just doing a boring old box. Anyway, here we can see the dev kit label, with its model number and other extraneous information. And don't mind the blue painter's tape, I put it there to cover the serial number and other identifiable information for obvious reasons. Now, right smack in the middle is the IEC port for plugging the unit to power using the included cord. To the left, we have two Ethernet ports labeled Developer LAN and the other just LAN. I'm going to go out on a limb here and assume that the Dev LAN is a 10 gigabit Ethernet connection, which would really come in handy when downloading and uploading various builds of whatever games these developers are making. The one just labeled LAN is probably a standard gigabit Ethernet connection, but we'll definitely know for sure once I tear this puppy down in my upcoming video. And on the other side, we have the HDMI port, as well as the last high-speed USB 3.0 port. On the bottom of the console, we see some rubber feet which are actually designed to allow developers to stack multiple dev kits. Here on top of the unit, you can see the indent where the feet can slot into, so these kits are indeed designed to be stacked. But even more interesting than the console's feet is this small door. I'm not sure what's behind it, but stay tuned to the end of the video to find out. Okay, so the moment we've been waiting for. What happens when we turn this thing on? I honestly don't know what's going to happen. We're going to be experiencing this together. So here goes nothing. All right, so now I'm going to plug in the HDMI. All right, so the HDMI is plugged in. Now let's plug in power. Here we go. Moment of truth. Okay, so it actually just kind of powered on by itself. We got a little status light illuminated here. Oh, okay, we got something here on screen. Well, here we got a couple things to look at. What firmware version we have, and the SDK we're using. Okay. I'm gonna try and power it on again. Oh, okay, there we go, we got something. So powering on, SoC, so the system on chip, so the thing is powering on. And I have the controller it came with here. So far, nothing is on. Okay, I got a PlayStation logo on screen, on my capture card. There it goes. Ah, okay. Okay, so this is kind of starting up like a normal PS5. Okay, I haven't paired this controller yet, so I probably gotta plug it in through USB. So I'm just gonna plug this in to one of the USB ports in the front. See if we can pair it that way. I'm gonna do it through the 2.0 port. There we go, controller is paired. I think I can unplug it now. I'm gonna hit OK. So this looks like a retail, okay, now this is totally different. Okay, so here we got some information. I'm gonna probably blur most of this out. We got a hard drive, which has 2,200 gigabytes. Oh wow, holy cow, this has a lot of storage. So here's the menu. It's just our standard Sony crossbar menu system. Yeah, so as you can see at the top, it says this dev kit, test kit is expired. See activation guide on DevNet. So this system is not activated, and which really means we can't do too much. All right, so modern day dev kits like this one are pretty much useless since they do require activation, as can be seen by the banner on top. This device has not been activated. And developers most likely will also need some sort of license from Sony, as well as what we call a whitelisted IP address for this to connect to Sony servers. In the past, dev kits were pretty much standalone devices and didn't require an internet connection. However, nowadays, that's not really the case, and these tend to serve more as really cool collector's pieces, since people like you and me who aren't game developers won't really be able to use the device for its intended purpose, essentially making this dev kit a really cool looking and expensive paperweight. So with that, I don't expect we'll be able to do much, but that doesn't mean it won't be really interesting to explore the software. But we can take a look inside some of these. Let's see if there's anything in media. So there's really probably nothing in these. So debug settings. Okay, so here's the network dev. So I guess if we were going to connect to the internet, which I won't be connecting it to the internet, obviously, because it'll probably get banned immediately as soon as I plug this to the internet. System update. No, we're not going to do that, but There's definitely a lot of debug setting options here. App library, so there's nothing there. So workspace, can't start game or app, okay. You know, this has never been turned on, so nothing has been loaded to it. So this is kind of like a blank slate. Storage, let's take a look at that again. So we have 2.4 terabytes of memory. So that's really cool. So this actually has a ton of internal memory, which we will be taking a look at once I do disassemble this entire unit. Again, really probably the thing that people will be most interested in is these debug settings. I'll have photos of all this. I'll do screenshots of a lot of this and put it onto the Macho-Nacho website. Again, I'll have that linked in the video description, but you know, this is pretty interesting. Yeah, I'll be sure to post photos of this. Yeah, if there's anything in particular you want me to capture, do a screen grab of, leave me a comment down below and I'll do my best to do that for you guys. Activation. So obviously this is the activation here. I can't do it from the host because I'm not connecting this online. I don't have a USB key. That was actually something that was told to me, was that you can actually plug in a USB thumb drive and that would be used to sort of activate the unit. So yeah, unfortunately this really can't do much because it doesn't, it's not been activated. And really you'd have to connect it online or maybe sign up and get a developer license and maybe they'll send you an activation USB thumb drive, but again, I don't have that, so yeah, pretty interesting. Okay, well, that covers the software side of things, and as expected, there really wasn't much we can do, though it is still super interesting. But now we have one thing left to do, and that is to check out what's inside that secret door on the bottom of this unit. All right, so let's check out what is in that door on the bottom of the console. Oh gosh, this is heavy. Oh, gotta go on the bottom. Okay, so we got 3 Phillips head screws here, so let's go ahead and take them out. All right, so what do y'all think is under this thing? Last chance to put a guess in the comments. Okay, moment of truth. Ta-da! Okay, so actually there's nothing in here. Okay, so it's just kind of like a retail unit. There's a expansion for a SSD. Okay, so I was completely wrong. I thought maybe there would have been multiple SSDs in there, but that is definitely not the case. So kind of anticlimactic. There is a human hair, but maybe this is the human hair of the person who made this dev kit. Yeah, how did that get? It was actually really stuck in there too. All right, well, that, ladies and gentlemen, is the very first up-close and personal look at the PlayStation 5 dev kit. I have to say, I really love the design. It's just so different from a regular retail PS5 console, and honestly, I'm not sure which one I like more. Anyway, if this is your first time visiting the channel, I just want to thank you for stopping by, and I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, check this video out here, because if you like this one, I know you'll love that one too. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next Thursday.